What's happening everyone, my name is Alex and welcome back. For this camera comparison I have the GoPro Hero 8 Black, I have the Akaso V50 Pro and the latest camera from Akaso, the Akaso Brave 6 Plus. Now you can find the V50 Pro for about $120, but I did see this camera for about $100 on multiple occasions. Moving on to the Brave 6 Plus, you can find this one once again for about $120. As for the GoPro 8, you're gonna have to spend somewhere around $300 if you wanna buy this one. So throughout this video I'm gonna show you a bunch of sample recordings, and from these recordings you're gonna be able to tell which camera has a better internal microphone, which camera has better image stabilization, which camera has better video quality, and so on. Now, of course, you're gonna be able to see the samples and decide for yourself, but I'm just gonna tell you my thoughts really quick. For image stabilization, the GoPro 8 does seem to do the best, followed by the Brave 6 Plus, with the V50 Pro being the last one. The stabilization on this one isn't that great at all. Now, for microphone recordings, I feel that the GoPro 8 does the best, so the quality of the microphone recordings, the internal microphone, followed by the V50 Pro and then the Brave 6 Plus. So this one is the worst for the internal microphone. As for video quality, well, if you're recording in 1080p, the GoPro 8 does the best, followed by the Brave 6 Plus, with the V50 Pro being the last one for 1080p recordings. But if you're recording in 4K, once again, the GoPro 8 is the best one, followed by the V50 Pro and then the Brave 6 Plus. So I'm gonna let you guys watch those sample recordings, those daytime sample recordings, and I'll come back after so we can talk about the nighttime sample recordings. Keep in mind that I've made a couple of mistakes when I was recording those sample videos, and I did say the Akaso V50X, but I meant the V50 Pro, so just keep that in mind. I never had the Akaso V50X with me for this comparison. So let's check out those recordings and I will be right back. We have our first video test between the Akaso Brave 6 Plus, the GoPro Hero 8 Black and the Akaso V50 Pro. So for this test I'm doing 4K at 30 frames per second, and as you can probably see for yourself, I am walking fairly slow, and I wanted to show you how the image stabilization would work in a situation like this. So basically walking with no wind, not that much movement. So this is how the image stabilization on these three cameras would look like. I'm gonna stop here for a second. We'll pan left slowly and back right. And I'm also gonna do a bit of running all the way to that fence there, so you can see how the image stabilization does while running. So this is how recording from these three cameras would look like in 4K at 30 frames per second. We are moving on to another quick recording between the Akaso V50 Pro, the Brave 6 Plus, and of course the GoPro 8 Black. For this recording I'm doing 4K at 30 frames per second, and as you can probably see for yourself, I am riding a bicycle, so I'm gonna try to do a bit some more sudden movements so you can see how the image stabilization would work under these conditions. So let's cross the street here and we'll go right, and I'll try going a bit faster. And we'll go this way, hopefully I don't fall. And this way. And we'll turn right. So yeah, this is how recording in 4K at 30 frames per second between these three action cameras would look like if you're recording in 4K at 30 frames per second and you have the image stabilization turned on. Let's turn right again. This is our second audio test between the GoPro Hero 8 Black, of course the Brave 6 Plus and the V50X. For this recording I am doing 1080p at 30 frames per second, and of course at this resolution we have image stabilization for all three cameras. And as you can probably see, I am talking in front of the cameras, and there is almost no other noise aside from my voice. Maybe some birds and maybe a bit of wind. So yeah, this is how the microphone, the internal microphone on these three cameras works under these conditions. We are moving on to another quick recording between the GoPro Hero 8 Black, the Akaso Brave 6 Plus, and of course the V50X. For this recording I am doing 4K at 30 frames per second, but where I am now you're probably gonna hear a bit more traffic, maybe a bit more wind as well. So I'm gonna pan up slowly, back down and left. We'll walk this way for a bit. We'll stop here and pan left and back right, and we'll walk straight for a bit. So yeah, this is how recording between these three cameras would look like in 4K at 30 frames per second. And we are moving to another quick recording between the Akaso V50X, the GoPro Hero 8 Black, and of course the Akaso Brave 6 Plus. For this recording I am doing 1080p at 30 frames per second because a lot of people like recording in 1080p because there are smaller files and you can edit them a bit easier. As you can probably see for yourself, I am walking. There is almost no wind, but you may hear some traffic aside from my voice. So this is how recording between these three action cameras would look like under these conditions in 1080p at 30 frames per second. So what do you guys think? Which camera is best for daytime videos? And I'm referring mostly to the V50 Pro and the Brave 6 Plus. I've included the GoPro 8 just so I can show you how one of the better action cameras on the market looks like. So you have like a point of reference. But the comparison was meant between the Brave 6 Plus and the V50 Pro. So definitely leave a comment down below and let me know. Alright, and we are moving on to a nighttime sample recording. Well, for nighttime recordings, the V50 Pro is definitely the worst, followed by the Brave 6 Plus and the GoPro 8. But I have to say that neither the GoPro 8 or the Brave 6 Plus does that great in low light. And realistically, no action camera does that great in low light. So let's check out that nighttime sample recording, and I will be right back. Alright, we have a super quick video test in low light between the Akaso V50 Pro, of course the Brave 6 Plus, and the GoPro Hero 8 Black. Now, realistically, none of these cameras does that great in low light, so I'm only gonna show you one video. As you can probably see for yourself, I am walking, and from what I'm seeing on the screens here, the GoPro does seem to do the best. So let's stop here for a second, we'll pan to the right, and I can't exactly see anything on the screens. Well, maybe I can see a bit on the GoPro 8, but definitely not that much. So if you're planning to record at night, none of these cameras are gonna do that amazing. So we'll just walk towards the light here. We'll stop here for a bit. We're gonna pan left slowly. And back right. So yeah, this is our recording from the V50 Pro, the Brave 6 Plus, and the GoPro Hero 8 Black would look like if you're recording in 4K at 30 frames per second and at night. And as you've seen for yourself, neither camera does that great if you are recording in low light, and you're probably better off not to record with any of these cameras at night. Alright, moving on to checking out some pictures. Well, for daytime pictures, once again, and as expected, the GoPro 8 does better. I feel that the V50 Pro did the second best, with the Brave 6 Plus being the third one. As for nighttime recordings, well, all three cameras actually did better than their video recordings, but realistically none of them did that great. Alright guys, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully it was useful if you're considering one of these cameras. Hopefully I made it a bit easier to make the right purchasing decision. If you did like the video, don't forget to press that like button, don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.